Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sireesha, and today we're going to be doing the third part of our 7-part chakra series. Today's practice is going to be focused on the Manipura chakra, or the jeweled city. This is our solar plexus chakra, and it's the source of our confidence, of our strength, of our courageousness, and that's going to be the intention of our practice today. The color that corresponds to the Manipura chakra is yellow. So if there's something yellow that you'd like to bring into your practice space, maybe wear something yellow or bring something that helps you feel strong and courageous into your practice space, you can add that little extra bit. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so that you can get all the latest videos from me, and I will meet you on your mat. So we're going to start off our Manipura chakra class in a seated position. And if seated doesn't work for you, you can always lay down instead. And you can have a cross-legged seat or a kneeling position. And you might shift your weight here from side to side so that you can feel your sit bones rooting down into the ground below you. You can soften your gaze downward, or you can close the eyes down. Take a deep inhale through your nose. And exhale it out through your mouth. Coming into this moment and into this space, feeling your body connected to the space around you, noticing the sounds in the room and practice space that you're in, noticing the sensations in the body, perhaps sitting back in towards yourself, stacking your shoulders over your hips. And then just starting to scan the body here, starting at the top of the head and moving all the way down through the body, all the way down to the toes. Just building up a quick picture of how you are in this moment. And start to gather your awareness at the energy center that is the focus of our practice, the chakra that we will be focusing on. And this Manipura chakra sits at the navel, so right at your belly button. So without moving your hands to that space, just kind of bring your awareness and your focus to that spot in your body and sort of the energy generating from that center point of your navel. So Manipura means jeweled city. This energy center is the focus and source of our strength, our confidence, our courage, and our balance. So that's going to be our intention for our practice today. To come back into connection with that balance, that compass within us. And we'll use a phrase, a mantra as an intention for our practice. I am strong and courageous. That is our intention for our practice together today. I am strong and courageous. And you might even repeat that to yourself aloud or in your head. I am strong and courageous. And now you can choose to keep your eyes closed or lift your gaze for a moment. And we're going to seal this intention with a mudra, which is an energetic seal that you can create with your hands. So you'll take your left palm up toward, like facing up toward the ceiling, but you'll place it at that spot just right at your navel. And then you'll make a fist with your right hand, but have your right thumb sticking up. And you'll place that right hand, that right fist, in the sort of cup, the basket of your right hand. So if you're feeling confused, you can take a look up here. And you'll place that mudra right at your navel. Doesn't have to touch, but just in that space in front of your navel. And then you can close your eyes down if you had your eyes closed, or you can soften your gaze on a point on the floor in front of you. And just notice this energy here, the sensation of your right hand resting on your left palm. Perhaps some heat between your hands, And then the heat generating between your hands as they're closer to your body. And we'll take 5 rounds of breath here with this Agni Mudra, which means fire seal. So our Manipura chakra is that seat of fire, of creation. It's where our digestive fires sit. And as you breathe, noticing how your breath is moving through your body, softening through the muscles of your face for these last 2 rounds of breath. Slowly blink open your eyes and lift your gaze. Release the mudra, and you might kind of shake your hands out, maybe crack your knuckles and roll out your wrists to release some of that energy. But keeping that intention, and on an inhale, we'll sweep the hands up toward the ceiling. And as you exhale, we're going to turn this into a twist. So your right hand's going to come to your left knee, and your left hand's going to come back behind you. You can use that left hand as a kickstand here to help your spine find some more length, and you'll soften your shoulders down away from your ears. Perhaps your gaze is more at a diagonal. Perhaps you can start to turn your gaze more towards the left. Using your inhales to lengthen up through your spine, and using your exhales to find a twist from the center, from that navel center of your abdomen. And you might draw circles here with your nose, moving in one direction and then the other direction for a couple of rounds. And then we'll slowly unwind, sweeping the hands back up toward the ceiling, maybe lifting your gaze up, and we're going to take it to the other side. So your left hand's going to come to your right knee, and your right hand's going to come back behind you. Inhale to grow tall, find length. Exhale to twist towards your right. Again, softening down, so thinking about lengthening the distance between the earlobe and the top of your shoulder. Using that right hand as a kickstand to help your spine find some length. As you inhale, lengthen up. As you exhale, twist from your navel center, from your Manipura chakra energetic center. Breathing here, notice sensation, soften through your legs. And we'll draw circles here with the nose moving in one direction and then the other direction. And these circles can be super small circles. And then on an inhale, we'll unwind, reach both hands up toward the ceiling. Exhale, release your hands down by your sides, and we're going to find a child's pose. So 2 options here. Your knees can go to the edges of your mat, or your knees can stay a little closer inward. The further apart your knees are, the more you're going to get into the hips. The closer in your knees are, the more the sensation of stretch will come into the low back. So notice where your body is today. Remember back to that scan and pick the stance that makes sense for you. You can walk your hands forward and bow your forehead down towards the knee. Bow your forehead down towards your mat. And if this doesn't work for you, if child's pose doesn't feel supportive for your body, you can always slide a pillow underneath your forehead or come to kneel instead. You might find that you need to adjust your stance here, adjust your leg position. And if you've got any shoulder tension, you might draw your arms long down by your side so that your fingertips are going towards the back of your mat. Take a deep inhale here. Full exhale here. And just kind of noticing how your breath is moving through you. You might walk your hands slightly forward if your fingertips are reaching towards the top edge of your mat to get into a sense of stretch on both sides of the body. Perhaps you notice a sense of stretch at the very center of your body here, your navel center. And then from here, if your hands are reaching towards the back edge of your mat, you might slowly bring your fingertips towards the top edge of your mat. And then we'll take the hands together to touch, and you can either stay here with hands touching fingertips towards the top edge of your mat, or to go for more, you can bring your hands to the nape of your neck, fingertips and thumb tips pointing towards the tailbone, towards the back of your mat. And so we're stretching along the arms here, but you're also creating a sense of stretch from the torso and the spine as well. And if you're looking for more sensation, if you really want to intensify things, we're still early in practice, but if you feel called to, you might think about walking your elbows more towards the top edge of your mat. I'm feeling plenty in my body here, so I'm going to stay where I am. Always an invitation to explore movements as we practice on our mats. Please slowly release your hands away from the nape of your neck. And then on an inhale, we're going to slowly press up, making our way back to hands and knees. And right now, we're not going to worry about alignment because we're just pausing for a moment in our hands and knees. And then from here, we're going to tuck the toes and just hover the knees off the mat. So notice where your abdomen is in space in terms of activation, and think about drawing your navel in towards your spine, that subtle engagement. Pull in, draw in towards that navel center. Slight bend in your elbows, thinking about rounding through your spine here for 3. Feeling the heat build for 2. Last 1. And then we're going to send the hips up and back, finding our downward facing dog. And so you might pedal it out here, bending one knee and then the other, nodding the head, yes, shaking the head, no. You might shift your gaze underneath that left armpit and bend your right knee. And then we'll come back through center and we'll do the other side. So bend your left knee and shift your gaze underneath your right armpit. One more time like that. Bend your right knee, gaze underneath your left armpit. Inhale, come through center. Exhale, bend your left knee, gaze underneath your armpit. Inhale, return through center. Take a deep inhale through your nose. And exhale it out through your mouth. Good. On an inhale, come onto your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, shift your gaze forward, and walk your feet up to meet your hands, finding a forward fold at the top of your mat. We're going to hang out here in our forward fold. So you might bend your knees, you might separate your feet a little bit further apart. You can grab opposite elbows, you can take your hands back to the nape of your neck, and you might sway here, finding some movement. Feeling the crown of your head really reach towards the ground, and thinking about even distribution of weight in the front part of your feet and the back part of your feet. So you're not dumping all into the balls of your feet and toes, and you're not dumping back into your heels. So you might kind of rock back and forth until you can find that even distribution. And then we'll slowly release the hands down to the mat. On an inhale, we're going to slowly start to rise up, stacking one vertebrae at a time. Your head will be the very last thing to come up. If you are feeling lightheaded at all when you reach the top, tuck your chin in. On an inhale, roll your shoulders up towards your ears. Exhale, soften them down by your sides, opening up across your chest. Noticing your navel center, you might bring your hands onto your navel now. One hand on top of the other, and just feel your breath moving through you. Good. On an inhale, sweep your hands up toward the ceiling. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale to lift up halfway, think long spine. Exhale to fold. Plant your hands and step your feet back to a plank pose. As you exhale, bend your knees ever so slightly and lower your knees down, and then your chest and your chin down so that your seat is what's up in the air. We're going to pull ourselves forward, coming down to rest onto the front of the body, and then you'll bring the tops of your feet down onto the mat. Press down into the tops of your feet, bring your hands to frame your chest, and on an inhale, lift up cobra pose, working your shoulder blades together on your back. As you exhale, lower down. Inhale, press up through hands and knees. Tuck your toes and send your hips up and back, finding your downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale here. Full exhale here. So since our Manipura chakra is the seat of our digestive fire, the seat of our strength and confidence, this practice is going to invite that fire, that heat to build. And we're going to move from that sense of heat, that sense of determination, as we flow through a few sun salutations together. So as you inhale, come onto your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, shift your gaze forward, and walk your feet up to meet your hands, finding your forward fold. Inhale to lift up halfway, think long spine. Exhale to fold. Root down into your feet. Inhale, rise up. Sweep your hands all the way up toward the ceiling. Exhale, fold it forward, diving back down. Inhale to lift up halfway, long spine. Exhale to fold. Plant your hands and step back to your plank pose. Take an inhale here. Exhale to shift forward, bend your knees slightly and lower your knees down, your chest and your chin down before pulling yourself through. Getting ready for your cobra pose. Press into the tops of your feet. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, press up through hands and knees. Tuck your toes, send your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. We're going to go through one more sun salutation A together. When you're ready, inhale onto toes. Exhale, bend knees, shift gaze forward. Walk your feet up to meet your hands, finding your forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway, long spine. Exhale to fold. Press down into your feet. Inhale, rise up, sweep your hands all the way up toward the ceiling. Exhale, fold it forward, diving back down. Inhale to lift up halfway, long spine. Exhale to fold. Plant your hands, step back to your plank pose. Take an inhale here. Option to lower knees, chest, chin, or to lower all the way down to your mat. Untuck the toes, tops of the feet, press down into your mat. Inhale, lift up, cobra pose. Exhale, make your way back to your downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale through your nose. And exhale it out through your mouth. Good. Notice sensations, notice that heat building. Now from here, we're going to start to add on building the heat some more. So on an inhale, sweep your right leg up and back behind you. As you exhale, draw your knee in towards your nose, shift forward, and step your right foot up in between your hands. To keep your left hand down, inhale, sweep your right hand up toward the ceiling, finding a twist. As you exhale, bring your right hand down to plant. Inhale, start to rise up, finding your high lunge. When you're ready, raising your arms up toward the ceiling. Now think about drawing energy from your navel center. So from the center of your torso, you're powering up through your legs, and then you're powering up through your upper body. That point in the middle of your body, your navel, is the anchor here. Soften through your shoulders, and as you exhale, bring your hands together in front of your heart center, separating through the fingertips, coming into Anjali Mudra. This is another energetic seal. Make sure you're bending into that right knee. As you exhale, bring your hands down to frame your front foot. Send your right toes back to meet your left, finding your plank pose. Exhale to lower knees, chest, chin, or all the way down. Inhale to come up for cobra pose, working your shoulder blades together on your back, firming up through your core. Exhale to lower down. Inhale up through hands and knees, tuck your toes and send your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale through your nose and exhale it out through your mouth. Good. Inhale, sweep that left leg up and back behind you. As you exhale, draw your left knee in towards your nose, round through your spine, and step your left foot up in between your hands. Your right hand is going to stay down. Inhale, sweep your left hand up toward the ceiling, finding a twist. Working your right shoulder away from your ear. Think about opening up through your chest. As you exhale, bring that left hand down to your mat. Root down into your feet. Inhale, start to rise up, finding your high lunge. Taking your time, and when you found your stance, sending your hands up toward the ceiling. Soften through your shoulders. Draw from that center of energy that is the focus of our practice, your navel, your Manipura chakra. You might bring your hand to your navel, and as a reminder, to send energy from that part of your body down into your legs, and then from that part of your body up to the upper body and arms. Remembering our mantra for this practice, I am strong and courageous. On an exhale, bring your hands together in front of your heart center, separating those fingertips, finding your Anjali Mudra here. Inhale to lengthen up through your spine. Exhale to bring your hands down to frame your front foot. Step your left foot back to meet your right, coming into your plank pose, and then send your hips up and back, finding your downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Exhale, let it out through your mouth. Inhale, come onto your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, shift your gaze forward, and walk your feet up to meet your hands at the top of your mat. Inhale to lift up halfway, think long spine. Exhale to fold. Press down into your feet. Inhale, rise up. Sweep your hands all the way up toward the ceiling. Exhale, bring your hands together in front of your heart center. And notice the sensations. Maybe close the eyes down. Feeling your heartbeat in your chest. Feeling the strength of your body and your breath. And just coming back to your breath. Deep, full inhales. Deep, full exhales. We're going to go through one more flow sequence. So when you're ready, you can blink open your eyes if they were closed. Inhale, sweep your hands up toward the ceiling. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Think long spine. Exhale to fold. Plant your hands and step your right foot back to find your low lunge. Root down into your feet. Inhale, start to rise up, finding your high lunge. Hands going up toward the ceiling when you are ready. As you exhale, bring your hands together in front of your heart center. Inhale to lengthen up through your spine. Exhale to twist towards your left. Again, noticing if the hands are at the left armpit and slowly starting to bring them at your heart center. Breathing here for 3. Firing up your breath here for 2. Last 1. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, bring your hands down to frame your front foot and step your right foot up to meet your left. Inhale, lift up halfway, long spine. Exhale to fold. Step your left toes to the back of your mat. Root down into your feet. Inhale, start to rise up. High lunge, taking your time before sending your arms up toward the ceiling. As you exhale, bring your hands together in front of your heart center. Take an inhale here. Exhale to turn towards your right. Bringing your hands closer towards your heart center. Taking an inhale to lengthen up. Taking an exhale to find the twist. Drawing your core in to protect your low back. And also bringing your awareness to that part of your body, that energetic center of your strength. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, bring your hands down to frame your front foot. Step your right foot back to meet your left and find your plank pose. Exhale to lower all the way or halfway down. Inhale to come up for cobra pose or upward facing dog. Exhale to make your way back to your downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Exhale it out through your mouth. On an inhale, sweep your right leg up and back behind you. Draw circles here with your ankle in one direction and then the other. And as you exhale, step your right foot up in between your hands. Spin your back heel down, pointing your left toes in at an angle, getting ready to come up for your warrior 2 pose. So taking your time to windmill out the left hand back behind you and the right hand forward. Bend into that front knee. You might need to heel toe your feet further towards the edges of your mat to take up space here. And think about, just like we did in our lunge pose, finding that center of your body. So you might place your hands on your navel, using that as a reminder of your strength, drawing from that energetic center to send strength out into all of your limbs. Take an inhale here. Exhale, windmill your hands down to frame your front foot. Step your right toes back to meet your left. Take an inhale here. Take an exhale here. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, send your hips up and back, finding your downward facing dog. Second side, when you're ready, inhale, sweep that left leg back behind you, finding your 3-legged dog. Firm up through your core, draw circles with your ankle in one direction, and then the other. And then we're going to step that left foot through, finding your lunge. Now from here, we're going to spin that right heel down so that your right toes are pointing at a 45-degree angle to your long edge of your mat, getting ready for your warrior 2 pose. And so you might start to come up first. Notice the stance. Then spread your arms out. Right hand back behind you, left hand in front of you. Take a moment, look back, make sure your right hand is where you think it is. Soften through your shoulders, find that energetic center, and span out through your body. Shine strong. Coming back to your intention, maybe saying it aloud here. I am strong and courageous. You are embodying your warrior here. As you exhale, windmill your hands down to frame your front foot And this time we're going to step that right foot up to meet your left. Inhale, lift up halfway, think long spine. Exhale to fold. We're going to prepare for a chair pose here. So you have a couple of options. You can bring your big toes together, slight gap between your heels. Or you can bring your feet further apart. It might be hips width distance, which is about 2 fists between your feet, maybe a little bit more. And we're all gonna bend our knees a lot here so that our torso is resting on the tops of our thighs. Get comfortable with this contact, with this sensation. And on inhale, we're gonna sweep the hands up toward the ceiling. Now notice where your body is in space. If you've got any shoulder tension, feel free to cactus the arms here or bring your hands together in front of your heart center. Now sink your seat a little bit lower. Think about sending it back in space like you're actually gonna sit down into a chair, and notice what that does to your core. Hug in. You might lift your toes up, wiggle your toes and set them down. Taking an inhale here. Full exhale here. And now we're going to start to come onto the toes, lifting the heels off the mat any amount and sinking your seat a little bit lower. So our chair pose, or Utkatasana, also is called fierce pose. So you might be feeling some shakes and wobbles, but trust your body, trust yourself. Maybe place both hands on your heart center as you sink a little bit lower here, hovering here for 3, for 2, sink a little bit lower here for 1. And we're going to stand all the way up, reach the hands all the way up toward the ceiling, lift your gaze, lift your chest. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, lift up halfway, think long spine. Exhale to fold. Now from here, we're going to come to the mat, so you can come down to hands and knees, and then slowly lower yourself all the way down to your mat, so that the front of the body is resting on your mat. Now from here, we're going to bring our arms long down by our sides for one last little bit of work. So you can have palms up or palms down, just noticing what that does to sensations in the shoulder. Now we're going to come into locust pose. So you'll press down into the tops of your feet, and as you inhale, lift just your chest up and your face up off of the mat. Keeping your feet and your hands down on the mat. Notice how things feel, and you can choose to stay here or lift your feet off the mat. Now only going as high as feels right for you. Firm up through your core here. You can choose to stay here or add your arms. And thinking about Bhujangasana or Cobra pose, work your shoulder blades together on your back here for 3. Knowing that you can lower down here at any moment here for 2. Last one. Slowly lower all the way down to your mat. Let your forehead rest on the mat, or you can make a forehead pillow, stacking one hand on top of the other and allowing your forehead to rest on your mat. And you might wiggle here like a piece of jello, shifting your weight from side to side. Finding your breath. Feeling your heartbeat in your chest. And using that as a reminder, a guidepost of your strength, of your confidence. Breathing into your back body here. And then you might bend your knees. And ever so gently windshield wiper your knees here from side to side. Doesn't have to be a big movement, just a little bit of movement here. And we'll slowly release the legs all the way down to the mat. And then we'll come to one last child's pose, just to allow the low back to come back to neutral. So you'll kind of press yourself up through hands and knees. Maybe bring your knees a little bit closer together. Bring your seat towards your heels and bow your forehead down towards the mat. And if you've got any shoulder tension, you can bring your arms long down by your sides. And just breathe here into your spine, into your stomach, into your abdomen, into your legs. Noticing if this pose feels different than when we first approached it at the start of our practice. And we'll slowly sweep the hands back up towards the top edge of your mat. come forward onto your stomach, and then we're just gonna flip over onto the back. Coming to our final pose of our practice, Shavasana. And if your low back is feeling tender, you can bend your knees, heel toe your feet toward the edges of your mat, and allow your knees to knock in towards each other. Otherwise, you can take the legs out long. And then I invite you to bring your hands on your navel. So you can place one hand on top of the other on that spot on your body. And know that this is the jewel city within you. Your Manipura chakra, the source of your balance, your strength, your self-confidence. This fire element of energy is always there within you. This digestive fire is always there to help transform you, to help you process, to help bring you into balance, to remind you of your strength and your courage. And so we'll do another practice to help activate this Manipura chakra energy within us. So we first did it with our mudra at the start of our practice. We did it through asanas, through all the poses that we just did, through our breath. And now we're going to do it through a mantra, through chanting. And you can choose to chant in your head or you can choose to chant aloud. It's up to you. And every chakra has a seed mantra, a bija mantra, or a one-syllable sound that corresponds to that chakra. And chanting that sound, that syllable, helps to activate the energy in the body. And you can see that in an obvious way through the vibrations that happen when you chant or sing. And so the syllable, the bija mantra for the Manipura chakra is Ram. And so we're going to chant that together 3 times. And you can, again, choose to chant it in your head or aloud. But we'll just start by taking a deep cleansing breath, breathing in through the nose, and exhaling it out through the mouth. And now we'll inhale to chant. Just notice the sensations in the body, the residual sensations, leftover sensations from chanting. In Sanskrit, that's called shesha. And you can soften your gaze or close the eyes down if you haven't done that already. And we'll just pause here, integrating all that we've done on our mats today to activate our Manipura chakra, to activate that source of strength, of balance, of confidence. Let your breath be soft and natural. Let your muscles relax around the bone. Keeping your hands on your body doesn't serve you, you can always release them down by your sides. Just giving yourself permission to rest here. We'll breathe in this pose for 10 or so rounds of breath. Slowly start to deepen your breath, bringing yourself back into this space, back to your mat. If staying in stillness serves you, stay. Otherwise, you can start to take gentle movements to wake your body up, maybe wiggling fingers and toes, rolling ankles and wrists, maybe moving the head from side to side. If it feels right for you, you might reach your arms back behind you, stretch your legs out long and point through the toes. And as you exhale, draw your knees in towards your chest, giving yourself a squeeze before slowly making your way over onto one side and pausing. As you're ready, take your time. Start to press yourself up to a comfortable seated position, either with your eyes closed or your gaze downward to keep your focus inward. Give yourself a moment to arrive back in your seated position and sit back into yourself. Sit back into that energy of confidence, of courage, of strength. Calling to mind our intention for our practice. I am strong and courageous. Bring the hands together in front of the heart center and bow the head, bowing the thinking mind to all of the wisdom in the body. As you're ready, you can slowly lift your gaze, blink open your eyes, and release your hands down by your sides. Thank you all so much for joining me in this practice. I hope that you feel a little more connected to your Manipura chakra, to that confidence, that strength within you. And if you enjoyed this practice, let me know by giving me a thumbs up or leaving me a comment in the comment section below. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so that you can get all the latest videos from me. And as always, thank you so much for joining me in this practice. Take care.